Beginning again today. All right, we're at session 19. Very exciting stuff. I actually remembered to label today's stream on the title to actually say that's session 19. So something that I keep on forgetting to do is to actually label these videos as like different videos, because it's confusing when you look through my video library on Twitch and they all have the exact same title and there's no differentiating factors between them. So yes, it is session 19. That's where we're at, which is pretty good, you know. That being said, I think I'm trying to think. I might start doing story. I'm trying to think for the future of this channel slash I don't know, stream. I might try doing half of the time it's straight ahead storyboarding with the Master Shots Vol.2 challenge, and then the other half it's working on a certain project that maybe each morning that I come to it, that it's like a an update to it. So essentially, like maybe on like Mondays it'll be straight ahead storyboarding, and then on Tuesdays it'll be creating a new scene as part of like a bigger narrative. And then on like Wednesdays we'll be back to straight ahead storyboarding. And then on Thursdays it's working on a scene for a bigger project. The reason why I say this is because there's a couple of these sequences I've done, like yesterday's, that actually narratively turned out to be pretty interesting. I think interesting enough that it kind of feels like a shame to just leave the story open-ended. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, this is kind of a cool sequence. It's like, I would like to make this sequence better. Or I'd like to make this story better. And so that's what I was kind of thinking, is where it's like, well, wait a minute. It'd be kind of fun to actually flesh out some of these stories where like maybe every 2 weeks I figure out another story. Or every month there's a dedicated story that's being worked on. So then that way there's still the Master Shots Vol.2 challenges, but then there's also the oh, these are the spare frames. There's also the story that can be like cleaned up and then maybe presented on my YouTube channel to be watched. So then that way it's like, okay, that was the story that I was talking about. I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on that. Just because, as I said, some of these sequences are actually kind of pretty cool. And then I feel a little weird when I'm just like being like, all right, that's all you're ever going to see of that story again. No more of it. Here's a new story. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Either way, moving on. Today is Master Shots Vol.2 Challenge, which is a challenge I made that uses the book called Master Shots Vol.2 by Christopher Kenworthy, who is not me. Yeah, it's a book about cinematography and how to set up dialogue scenes and different techniques to use in a dialogue scene to make them interesting and engaging. So essentially what this challenge is I combine two sections from the book randomly. So I roll a dice and then figure out like, okay, we're going to do this section of the book and we're going to combine it with this section of the book. And then it's my goal to have to create/write a scene during that time frame, and draw out a new drawing every like 15 to 20 seconds, sometimes 30 seconds, for about like 22 minutes per session. And then 95% of the time I go overtime and then usually do like a second session, so that I can wrap up the story. Like that's what happened yesterday, because yesterday ended up being like, 201 drawings or something like that. Like it ended up being well over 200 drawings. So it's like, it's technically 2 drawing sessions. That being said, yesterday I actually rolled for what today's would be on stream because I thought I might not have. I was thinking about switching things up, but by the way, here we are. So we're gonna do what yesterday's were. So level change. What's a level change? I forget if I already did level change, like on the first day or something like that. Yes, we did do level change. We did level change on, yeah, the very first drawing session, I think. Was a level change, or maybe it was the second drawing session. And I think it was the second drawing session. Yeah, second drawing session. Yeah, level change already occurred. I will reiterate what level change is, but yeah. So a level change is when a character, here's our character. He's looking a little nervous. You know, here he is, mate's low angle. It's where they are drawn into a different level by someone. So a different height. And so here, there is someone in the foreground that is forcing them to sit, like at a table. And so the example that I used was that it was some sort of weird, almost like deal with the devil sort of thing when we did this on session 2, where we couldn't see, but it was like an alien creature, where like this guy was being tempted to get into some weird alien gambling thingy. Here, I'll give this guy fangs. Now here's all the people watching this guy. And so that's what I did for this in session number 2. But yeah, either way, so the level change is when you are having a character be pulled down or pulled up to another level by another character. And so what that does is that kind of takes power away from them. So you see our character here is technically, you see his head and eye line is above this character. See, he's above it. But then when he's pulled down to under him, so now he's below him in the composition, this shows that a power shift has occurred. It shows that, like, hey, he thought he was in power, or maybe he was trying to stay safe and in power, and now he's not. He's being pulled down to this person's level. Alternatively, you can do the exact opposite, which is where you could have a character who's sitting. Maybe he's like sitting here. And then there's someone who's here who maybe forces him to like get up out of his chair or something like that. And then, you know, we're at like, he's like, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to be slacking. You know, he's covered in like, you know, Dorito bags or something like that. And here he is with a video game controller in his hand. He was playing too much Halo 3 and had gamer fuel or something like that. So you see, this is an instance of character. There's a level change that's happening. Now, granted, this one actually doesn't feel as powerful because the character is still below him the whole time. So he's below him. He's below the powerful guy here, and he's still below him here, and he's still below him here. So yes, technically he was drawn up or drawn down, but there wasn't a crossing action. So in this, you see, there's a crossing a line, which is more dramatic than just being drawn from, you know, still being under the line the whole time. If that makes sense. So, in my opinion, this is a stronger thing, which makes me actually kind of wonder if potentially you could do a level change that's horizontal in some way. Where you, well, then it's not a level change. I'm trying to think, how would you do it? Basically, the characters have to be floating in space or something like that. And so it's like a character floating by. Nah, that doesn't work. I'm trying to think. Could you do something like that? Here's a guy floating in space. And that's not a level change. It's just going from one side of a character to another. Okay, so what is the other one? Circular dialogue. Ooh, cool. I got a spam bot in the chat. Very good. Circular dialogue. So circular dialogue is pretty basic. It is camera goes round and round. That's it. There's nothing more to it. Here's two characters talking. Maybe they're like at a bar. Here's a guy who's happy at the bar. And then the camera is orbiting. I'll be honest, I don't know why this section isn't just called orbits. Because that's really what this is. It's an orbit. And so what we're going to do is you see the camera is orbiting around the characters. And so what this does is it switches what side of the screen the characters are on. See, there's this one guy who's like, hey, you gotta get serious here. It's like, I don't think the Empire is very chill, yo. Maybe we shouldn't join it. I'm trying to make that joke in every stream. I don't know why, but like every stream, it seems like I'm making that reference. So you see, okay, sorry. Maybe someone enters through the door here. You know, we did an orbit specifically to reveal someone at the door. Okay, cool. So yeah, circular dialogue, or in this instance, basically just a camera orbit. It can be useful because it can help you, for one, if you really wanted it to. It could help you keep track of the environment by being able to see things happening in the background, and show the environment of characters walking by and whatnot, because it feels like you're there in real time. The other thing that I said that's pretty important is that the characters, see here's character, we'll say character 1, character 2, there's an invisible line between them. You can do this to draw characters closer to each other, because if you notice here, he's on this side of the screen, he's on this side of the screen, and then you notice as we start to orbit, they are actually both now in the center, and they're very close to each other. So using like an orbit or something like that can be useful to visually get characters closer together. However, what it also can be useful for is swapping places of characters. Because you see here, in this final shot, these characters have reversed. See, character 2, character 1. Character 2 is now in line with character 1. Character 1 is now in line with character 2. And so what happened is that the characters switched positions, and they switched roles, essentially. If we were to stop here, that's what would happen. Now, technically, the camera could keep on orbiting and orbiting and orbiting until we get back to here. And you could do that as an intentional visual gag. Great, now I kind of want to do this. Where the visual gag is the fact that the conversation isn't going anywhere. Like, you could intentionally do that, where you're just like, hey, let's, let's keep on spinning the camera orbiting over and over and over again, and have them not get anywhere, and then have the camera end exactly where it started, just to show that the conversation was pointless. Either way, that would be like an anti-example, where you're intentionally in on the technique and then usurping the audience's expectation of the point of the technique. But yeah, either way, this is an important tool. what's interesting is that both of these techniques, actually, today that were rolled, are commonly used for switching power dynamics. So, you know what? Actually, they're also both in section 2. I'm going to go read what the header of section 2 is, because I bet you it is called something like power change, because that's what this feels like. Increasing tension. That's what the name of this chapter is. Okay. Either way. So as I was saying, both of these sections are interesting because these are both techniques that are used for power changes. Where, for instance, the level change is a character potentially losing power. I guess you could also have a level change where a character gains power. Where a character, stands up and gets taller than the person. And then circular dialogue is also commonly used to show when there's a shift that's happening in a conversation. So that's interesting. I think this kind of really shows that this is going to be seen as between two characters. Between two characters probably sitting down. But where are they sitting down at? That's a good question. A true mystery. All right. Let's see. Oh, wait. Let me check something. Oops. Okay. All right. So let's think this through. How do I want to start the scene? I don't know if it's boring to have a character just sit down again with someone in the foreground, because I've already done that before. Like I've already done. So I never like doing the same thing the same way. Okay, that's a lie. I do that all the time with tracking shots. With these types of shots, I don't like doing things the same way. I always like to try and do a little twist on how I did it from one time to another. But I'm not quite sure if there's really a way to avoid it. So I think I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and do this. I can tell I didn't get sleep last night. All right. The ever-growing narrative. Is it better for me to have sleep or not? Some days I say it is. Sometimes I say it isn't. These inconsistent political views are going to tear the stream apart. Okay. And what aspect ratio do I want this to be in? Things are working out pretty fine with being in scope. I'm also trying to think of an intro to this scene. Sorry, because I'm mentally thinking this through, where it's like, okay, do I want to do a whole bunch of fast cuts that then things slow down once I get to this conversation? Yeah, I'm gonna have it at a bar. I'm lazy. Let's figure this out. Let's do this. It's gonna be at a bar. The only reason why I don't like this is because it's probably gonna lead to over-the-shoulder shots, which I absolutely despise. But you know, you can't avoid them. Sometimes it's just what you gotta do. All right, I'm gonna get my interval timer. I should really get that add-on so I can see the Twitch chat while streaming. Because it's a little confusing when watching this on YouTube. I'll be in the middle of a sentence, I'll just randomly start responding to someone who's not visible. Okay. It's gonna be alright. As I've said before, I'm okay with spending more time on the establishing shots. Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna be pretty lazy here. We're gonna have a car coming down the street. We're gonna get. I have a feeling today is gonna be very lazy in terms of drawings. Just a insider tip. I have a hunch that today's gonna be lots of really fast, rough drawings. Okay, cool. I need to stop monologuing. I need to actually do work. Okay. You caught me monologuing. All right. Shut up. Okay. I'm gonna start my timer. I'm gonna make sure that there's some people in the scene on either sides of the street, just so this feels lively. I'm gonna show some sort of evil alien technodrome or something. There's something in the background just to set the setting for this. Making sure that you can get as many background visual elements is kind of important for storytelling. So even if it's just this opening shot where like you can barely tell what's in here, that's like a city street or something, being able to be like, hey, there's a sci-fi element that might be important to a plot, kind of notifies people that this is part of a bigger narrative and that a character just came from one event to another, and something about this image is going to relate to the scenes that happen down the road in this scene. So just adding little stuff like that can make people, if they were to look through the storyboard, be like, oh, this is part of a bigger narrative. Maybe this is relevant. I'm curious what that's all about. What's this about? Who knows? I don't know. All right, 3, 2, 1, I'm storyboarding. All right, let's go. Here's this car coming down the road. Making its way downtown. Driving fast. Homebound. This is the quality content you all subscribe for. Alright, I've spent enough drawings on doing this. This camera move. I think this camera move can be done. Here's the car. I don't know what kind of car this is. I just don't want to spend too much time on it. We're gonna have a new background. The car's pulling up to us. Hold on. This is a really ugly. Whatever. I need to stop talking and just draw. Car pulls up. I'm gonna say it's raining or something like that. You can see some. This is like a taxi cab or something. And then what's gonna happen is someone gets out of it. Someone's getting out of this cab. As per usual, I always have characters in trench coats or whatever as they're walking around. This guy, I'll give this guy a hat first time. First time I give a character a hat on these storyboards. I actually might regret that. Giving this character a hat because I have to draw it then every time. That door is gonna get knocked off its hinges from how far he's pushing it. I think this car's getting taller. Yep, it is. Slams the door shut behind him. He's looking kind of nervous. And what we're going to do is we're going to start into a tracking shot because we're just following him. So you see? If anyone expected me to not do a tracking shot, you were mistaken. Everything I do turns into a tracking shot. Where's he walking towards? It's gotta be people or something. Let's see where he's. I mean, there's people sitting here chatting. Gotta be a doorway or something. I think what kind of environment this is. They have to have umbrellas because I said that this was technically raining. Here's like a, I don't know. An open doorway with like a light source or something. So this is how I draw, like when I'm really needing to storyboard something quickly. I just draw like this, where everything's like super loose. Everything's just shapes. So he's heading down the hallway. There's lights in it. It's a tight corridor. And there's multiple doorways or something like that. We're gonna have we have his feet walking really fast. his feet walking fast. He's got places to go. And then we're going to cut back up to his face. It's like this extreme low angle. It's like he's like late for a meeting or something. I'm going to have him, he's moving faster. I accidentally deleted his hat. Things are rushing by him. I didn't grab his eye. I got a little... Oh my goodness. I delete his hat every time. Change his expression a little. He's getting nervous. Also, I have his face kind of clipped, but I'm going to have him look down at like a... what is it? He's going to bring up his watch. You know, a technology that some people believe still exists today. Here's his watch. And then we're going to do a snap in. Like real close. Really dramatic. So he's like late for a meeting. See, this isn't normal for me. Normally I don't do all these quirky pass cuts and stuff like that. I'm trying something new. Trying to make this feel more like a genre film. Okay, genre film's not the correct term, but I think you get the idea. I want this to feel more specific than just my style of how I storyboard. Because normally I don't do fast cuts like this. So he sees that he might be late for some sort of meeting. So he picks up the pace. Someone texted me. I'm not going to look at my phone. And so he's going to get slightly off screen. Then we're going to have his feet speed up. He's going really fast. Now. Heel striking now. Boom. Getting faster. He's picking up the pace. He's actually outpacing the camera. Because he needs to get this meeting. gonna say we're gonna cut to like a POV shot where he's going down the hallway. And, I think I showed this technique a while ago. So when rushing or when moving down a hallway, it's kind of easier to just have a block that expands like this. In my opinion, I think it's easier to just start with a block and then draw in the details later. I think it's also faster. In my opinion, I think it every time you draw these lines, like the perspective grid lines, I think the wobble from them, from drawing them slightly inconsistently, already implies that there's motion happening because the lines become shakier and unstable. And so there really isn't a reason to just like copy and paste it. That's my logic. So my perspective is off. So he is nervous. He's not going to make it in time, so he speeds up. So we're going to cut to that hallway again. And so he's going through it. It's getting bigger. Something's going to happen. We're going to then rush. He's then going to be small. This is a big intro for this circular dialogue, this level change. He gets... Actually, I also don't even know if this really fits. This bit actually might need to be cut, because I know where I'm going to go with the circular dialogue scene. He stops because he hears a voice behind him. Someone's like, hey, you've gone too far. He's like, we're going to cut to him awkwardly on the screen left. What we're going to do, we're going to imply that there's a wall here next to him. Then the camera is going to shift. He's going to turn. Actually, this was on yesterday's. This technique. See, it's kind of all comes together. So there's a person who's, I don't know, wearing an ultra wide angle lens or something. There's a person behind him. Who's sitting on the other side of the door, leaning. He's like, you were supposed to go through this door. I'm gonna cut to behind him. The hat guy. shoulder. There's his ear. There's the person who's talking to him. He was watching him out of the corner of his eye. I want this guy to be bigger. I want him to be like, where we're using like a, maybe not that big. Maybe we're using like a split diopter or something like that. Actually, no. I'll keep him a little further away. It's just easier. It's like you missed the door. The meeting's in here. And then our character will cut back to this. This is all a really big intro for this. As I mentioned, I do not ever actually finish the scenes in the time that I say I will. I always end up shooting over. He's embarrassed. Yeah, he then turns back towards the camera. And turns that way. Then maybe we cut to this will be a weird angle. Because this character's over here. Cut to a wide of him. Here. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I need this. I don't like doing really stylized angles like this. But I don't think there's any other way to. Okay. We're going to shoot through. Okay, so I'll explain the problem I'm having. The problem is to get a wide angle of this character turning around, like a wide shot, which is what I want. I want a wide shot of him. He's in his trench coat and everything. There's the door. And then there's the person who's can be seen partially on the other side of the door. I want a shot like this, but I don't know how to get it in a hallway with that physical space. This hallway is much too short for that. Sorry, these proportions are really bad. Also kind of feel like maybe this door should be further over. I think it's kind of more interesting if he has to walk further. Dang it, I actually almost made more drawings this time than interval timer sessions. I actually almost got this to be like an average drawing of every 15 seconds or less. But because of this little hiccup here, that is not the case. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shoot this through like a window or something like that. So maybe there's a window or a door frame. Because there's not physically enough room on a set for this to work. Dang it, I snagged. You know what, I'll do this high angle. There's the guy against the wall. And he's gonna rush past. This doesn't make sense. Oh my goodness. Oh well. Give me a second. I know how I want this shot to work. I'm gonna have to pause and think about this. Okay. Basically, I want him to walk through, and I want it to still have the same sense of momentum that he's trying to get somewhere quickly. And so that even though he messed up, he's like, okay, I can still go faster. So like, you know, here he is. He pulls up in the car. He's getting out. He's like, okay, gotta go fast. He's like moving quickly. He's like looking at his watch. He's like, gotta go. He goes faster. He's going down the hallway. All right, I'm gonna make it. And then boom, someone's like, hey, you missed it. He's like, huh? It's like, the meeting's in here, dude. There's his thumb. It's like, yeah, you know, he's all nervous, and so he's gonna. Okay, I know what this should be. Okay, so there's a threshold. This is a wall. Okay, a what? A wall. A what? A wall. Oh, a wall. So this is the wall, and he's going to move through here. Really fast. Really quick. I need to watch Whiplash again. Sorry, this is really gross drawing. And so we're gonna cut in to maybe he's holding onto something under his jacket. Some sort of narrative plot point. Something important he's holding on to that I should have shown this in the other scene. It's like a briefcase or something that he has under his jacket. I should have shown this when he was in the running sequence. So this is going to rush towards us real quick. So it goes in. And then what's going to happen is he comes at 3/4. Or maybe. Okay, this is the trickiest part of the scene. I didn't expect to be stumped on. Where what happens is I want him to stop again. I'm actually accidentally almost kind of doing the circular dialogue thing. Where I want him to be stopped again by the person in the door frame who basically tells him to chill. And I'm not quite sure how to set up this camera shot because I want it to be like this guy's being rubber banded, where like he's going left to right. He's trying to get there really quickly. He's running, and he gets pulled back to the location, and so then he goes through there. Then he gets through, and he's, you know, he has a lot of energy in him, which is why all this is going so fast. And then, so I wanted that this guy keeps on trying to get faster and faster, just a little bit. And then this other guy throws in another note where he's like, dude, chill. It's like, you're going to ruin this meeting if you go in here this quickly. So it goes in. Man, this is tricky. Okay. I'm going to do a risky thing. All right, I'm going to experiment here. I am going to do a wide swing. Like, here's a wall here. Okay, this is going to be a weird technique. I'm going to do a really quick wide swing where we're going to swing through the door as he's coming through it. So, woo. So here we have our perspective. So just for a brief moment as he comes around that corner. He's gonna get stopped. I think here we're gonna have the hand grab his shoulder and we're gonna flip it from, here's his shoulder. We're gonna have a hand grab his shoulder. So this is from a higher angle. Get this hand here. I think this should be more centered. Then I want a shot like this, which is where there's the person is behind him. He's clearly reached out. He's like, you need to chill. I'm gonna have him spin. Kind
gonna take a step back. What? This feels weird. This is supposed to be a lower angle shot. Not exactly. Alright, this is getting... See, this is now apparently my weakness. See, I was on a roll. And now, once I got to here... This guy is leaning up against the wall. He's like, you need to chill. And our main character, he's like, maybe he's clearly a bit nervous and distraught. Maybe. Should I get in closer to our main character? So he's even bigger. So it's almost like they're overlapped with each other. It's like sweating or something. This is a weird match cut. They'd need to have be in different lighting for this to work. So he needs to be like lit in one way. So he sees that this guard guy probably has like a gun in his pocket or something like that. I think. And so he has his finger on the hammer, his thumb on the hammer. So our character now we're gonna cut back to grumpy guard guy. You know, he's eyeing this guy to see if he's going to do anything stupid. And our protagonist. He like takes a deep breath. And this is a little bit of a cartoony drawing, but he takes a deep breath and then he looks down. He's like, yeah, okay. It's like, okay, I think I'm good. Well, hold on. This probably needs to catch another white shot. This is a really complicated little interaction with all these shots. When he takes a deep breath, I should probably cut to a wider shot of him. Just to like release the tension. So we have this. He's like hyperventilating a little bit. Yeah, I'm good. And the guard's like, and we're just gonna put this in reverse. We're gonna go back to this face. I think there's a turkey outside the window where I am right now. He's like, all right. I'm trying to think. I want this interaction where we get almost a moment of like sincerity from this guard. Maybe he knows something. This guy turns. Right as he's about to turn. There's the guard in the background. And he's about to cut across. can't quite get away yet because this guy keeps on talking to him. Where he's like, this guy says another line. Right, so he's about to walk away. Which, of course, means we're doing this shot again. Oh my goodness, I've done this type of shot so many times now. Where he looks over his shoulder. And the guard's like, he gives him like a word of advice. He's like, don't mess this up. Or something like that. And he's like, stay calm. And he's like, trying to give him something useful. Maybe he's rooting for this guy. This guy who just entered the room. Maybe he knows what he's up to, what the meeting's about. So. Guy's like, okay, cool. Got it. Oh my goodness, I haven't even gotten to the scene that I'm supposed to do. I genuinely have not gotten to the primary drawing session. This was all intro, and I accidentally made a new character into the scene that I didn't want to. Okay. We're gonna walk through this. It's to what has already been done. And then I might take a little break because that little bit there, that little exchange took way too much energy. I think that goes to show my intuition on fast cutting and quick cuts in a little excursion like that, our little dialogue scene is not something that I'm the best at. So, okay, here's his character. He's driving in. He enters. He's going through here quickly. He's moving. He's moving. Someone's like, hey, you missed the door. It's like, what? Like, it's in here. Okay. Goes in. It's going to be fast. He has his briefcase. The guy's like, hey, Stop, buddy. It's like, oh, I told you to stop. It's like, huh? This guy's gone. Like, he breathes in, takes a deep breath, exhales. Okay. Like, all right, good. He's like, hey, whoa, what is this shot? What is this? Oh, this is supposed to be here. Okay. This is supposed to be him turning around. He like swings this way. So he goes away. He's supposed to be swinging away. There should only be 3 drawings. What is this? So he swings out, and then that guy gives him a little note as he's walking away. Huh? It's like, just be calm. You don't want to scare this guy or something like that. Maybe the guy he's talking to. It's like, great, thanks. This could maybe be like a really close up. Just to show that there was like a brief, strong emotional connection made between this guy and that guy. Got it. That's actually pretty good because we're getting in closer, and the next shot is going to be a wide shot. Okay, now you may have heard me say this at the beginning of this stream. The reason why I'm doing all these quick cuts in here in this sequence is because I know we're going to do a circular dialogue scene coming up. That's going to be a long take. It's going to be like a really long take. And because of that, I want this to contrast with the emotions of that sequence when it's going to happen. So all this hectic nonsense that took way too long for me to do, the purpose of this is to create contrast and interest for the next scene. Because then it'll feel like 2 different moments. It'll feel like he's rushing into something and he's going too fast, and then the guy's telling him that, like, hey, you're gonna need to calm down for this next scene, essentially. And so then he's gonna calm down for the next scene in terms of his acting and motion and movement. And so then the cinematography and cutting and editing needs to reflect the fact that he's in a different state of mind than he was beforehand. So, yeah, because if everything feels the same, then it doesn't feel like the character's gone through any emotional change, if that makes sense. This shot is in the wrong area. It is supposed to be here. There's actually supposed to be a shot in between them. That shot. Okay. There you go. He gets stopped. I'm just splitting all the shots right now. You can see on the timeline they're being split up. Okay. Well, this looks like I'm going to be here for like a 2-hour long drawing session. Geez Louise, I really need to hold myself accountable to how long these things go on for. I'm going to do the intro to the sequence. So this is what I was saying. I was saying earlier at the beginning of the stream. I'm just making excuses now, but I was saying that like some of these should probably be fleshed out scenes. That more time should be spent on them. All right. I'm gonna take like a 2-minute break or something. And then I'll draw the next part of this. I'm also probably gonna decrease the frame count on this next scene, or next part of this scene. All right, give me a minute. I said a 2-minute break. We'll see if this actually ends up being a 2-minute break. See, I'm just scrolling. Okay. This next sequence. What should I do? All right, I already know what I should do. All right, I'm gonna reset timer, and then I'm gonna have to be fast with this. Okay, cool. Right, starting. I have a. I have a character at the door. He was there talking to that guy. We're gonna have like a wall that's here. Sorry. We're gonna have a wall with like a mirror or something like that. He was there. Maybe there's art or something in here. I don't know what. He is going to. Okay, frick. He's walking towards the camera. All right, that's it. He's slowly gonna walk towards the camera. And something is going on with my brush. You guys can't see it, but I can tell it's happening. Where the line thickness is it's feeling weird. It just feels really weird right now. So he's entering into a new location. He's just walked into a room. Maybe it's like a diner or it's a bar or something. So here we should show that there's like people on, so that he's entering into an area that has more people and stuff going on in the background. I have him look towards the camera. And so maybe he sees the person he's supposed to be looking for. And so then he walks this way. He goes that way. And then what's going to happen is he's going to be in a new setting. So we're going to have like a door here. Apparently he could see. Oh man, how do I draw this? Okay, there's a bar. I need there to be a wall or something that he, or post or something that he walks around. It needs to be like a bar, and there needs to be someone sitting at the bar, and there needs to be the guy that he's talking to, and he's like a huge guy. Here, maybe there's like something that you can like clearly see through, and there's like a hanging plant or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. There needs to be a way that this guy could see it from over here. And I don't want it to be too crowded in this room. I want this room to feel different than the other one. I want this room to feel like it is its own special set. This guy's gonna walk up. He's gonna kind of carefully announce his presence. He's gonna be like, "Hey, dude." Whoever this guy is that he's talking to is a dangerous fellow. This is a dangerous place. I don't even remember how to say that song. It's a King Crimson song. This is from their album that's like all red. It just means like what? Danger in the city or something like that. It's a song about a guy who they're trying to record an album and they get mugged. And then what happens is people think they're listening to the album and the dialogue in it after they get mugged. Or the muggers are listening to the dialogue. And what happens is they think that the people who are recording things are cops, but really they're songwriters. And so then the muggers almost kill them, but then the actual cops do show up. And then the same situation repeats itself. Man, I didn't do the proper level change. I don't think I did. I'm now all ashamed. All right, let's see. All right, sorry, my brain is. Man, I should have gotten more sleep. Trying to think what's the best way to frame this guy. This giant man. Maybe I should just have his face on one side. I mean, this guy's having a bad day already. So he doesn't want to hear any like bad news or something. And then, And then our friend character, he's still. This guy's gonna be filling up the screen space. Maybe this guy has a headache or something like that. Have an ice pack on his head or something. Maybe he just got off a fight or something, or like a band-aid. So it's like a band-aid on his head. So that doesn't make this makes the situation worse for this guy here. He's trying to talk to him because he can already tell that this dangerous fellow that he's talking to is already not in a good mood. He's like yelling or something like that. Turning the scene into a bit more comedic than I wanted it to be. Just because I'm short on time. Ah. Let's see, where's this gonna go? See, this is tricky. This is one of those scenes I keep on. This is just a difficult day. At least for me, for storyboarding. He's maybe trying to say something encouraging to this guy, or say something about the plan. Maybe he's like got an insider tip or some sort of information that's relevant. And the way he's saying it, like he's trying to be calm. And what happens is the way he says it just makes this guy more mad. Let's just say he got a drink somehow. A drink was handed to him. The thing is that he's trying to go over to screen left. See, he's going this way. And what's going to happen is this guy is going to whip over to screen left. Just so he can't escape the awkwardness of the situation. Here's the drink in the foreground. This is a bit more of a cartoony scene, now that I see it. This guy's like put his arm around his shoulder already. I'm just making this guy fill up the screen space. He's big. I have him drop his glass, which is awkward. This quick cut. It drops. Yep. This shot should be a lot closer. This guy's like asking him some sort of difficult question. And he just rushed the difficult question to him. So, like, the reason why the guard told this guy to be calm is because it's like this guy is in a bad mood and he's just going to cut straight to the chase. And so then now, this is where he's like, can he actually remain calm? That did not copy the correct panel. That is the craziest thing. So I just copied this panel here and it pasted a panel from who knows how long ago. I'm gonna like repeat the same question. It's like, so then our character would be even more closed in. Oh no, can he get out of this situation? Can he? Gonna have the liquid dripping. Just to add tension on the scene. Okay, we're almost done with this scene. Oh, howdy. Oh, good to see someone in the chat. Okay, this is a sequence that got very much out of hand. um Yes, this is a scene that got very much offhand. So I'm storyboarding a sequence right now. Um, and it's a straight ahead storyboard, which means that I'm writing it as I go along. So I'm making up the scene on the spot instead of oh, thank you. Yeah, so this is a warm up exercise I do for storyboarding, where it's I just spontaneously like write a story on the spot, and then what I also do is that I need to get two different shot types or dialogue scenes from Master Shots Vol.2, which is a book for cinematography and whatnot. So for instance, like yesterday, I wrote a scene that had to have section 8.6, which is turn with a move from the book. So I had to have a camera move that's based off of a character turning for someone talking behind them. And then I also had to have back to character. Oh, okay. Yeah. So like this was yesterday's example. So I had section 8.6 and I had section 5.5. And so this was a scene I wrote where like there's this character who's like cursed or something like that, and his friend's trying to talk to him, and like he can't get to him because he's like in this weird beast form. And he's running around. He's like, dude, you need to calm down, chill, or you're gonna break stuff. He's like, he flies through the ceiling. The camera goes down. He's like, oh shoot. He catches up to him. So he's flying through the air. He crash lands into some trees. He's in his monster form. And so he like smashes this playground. So like I have to so like the premise that I wrote as I was drawing this is that basically somehow the world got cursed, and this playground that's overgrown here is like his old childhood playground. So like him breaking it is like symbolic of, I don't know, the curse that he's under. So you see these are like giant trees. It's like an overgrown forest, but there's a playground here. And so I guess whatever curse he has is yeah, here he is trying to get in through this tunnel, like this kid's tunnel. You know, one of those slides, but he's too big. He can't fit. And he gets all sad. And he can't get to the other side of the tunnel. And then his friend catches up to him and is talking behind him. And so he shrinks so you can see his friend in the tunnel. There's the atmospheric lighting. So this was one of the goals for the scene, was I need to have a camera turn based off of a character turning their head. So he's talking, he's like calming him down or something like that. And when he looks back after his speech would be like a minute long or something like that. His monster friend is gone. So this is inside the tunnel, and he's no longer there. He's like, where'd he go? And he looks around at the trees and everything, and his monster friend has disappeared, and the camera pulls back. Yeah, so this was yesterday's. So that whole scene was written as I was drawing it. So it's just like as I was drawing it, I was figuring out what kind of narrative is this? What kind of things are happening? Like, what's the character motivation? What's the world that they live in? Because I didn't know that this was like maybe a cursed world that all these trees and plants grew over it until like here. It was here that I decided it's like, okay, this playground has to be in a semi-fantasy setting. And so it was through that decision that's where like the story kind of came into place. I mean, you can if you want, honestly. I'd say just follow me on Instagram or something like that. I mean, I think that's easier. Um, so like my Instagram's crispy story art. Um, I think that's a better way for communication. I don't really use Discord for communication, I'll be honest. Um, so I think if you want to message me about anything, Instagram would be the place to go. But yeah, today's drawing session is I guess I technically have a Discord, but I don't really use it too much. But yeah, today's session is circular dialogue and a level change. And so this scene has been going on for way too long. and I am wrapping it up as fast as I can. It seems like with every day, my scenes get longer and longer. I'm starting to just go into filmmaker mode. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, my Instagram's crispy story art. It's the same as my Twitch stream. All right. Now I need to finish this scene. There's so much tension here. There should be like a mirror behind these two characters. I'm trying to think, what kind of shape can I get? What kind of shape language can I get that this guy's around this character, this little character. This guy's getting bigger and bigger. He's like Kuma sized at this point. There's a ceiling fan. There's something spinning. So just that there's this tension of, can he get out of here? Oh, I don't do face cam because I just don't have time for it right now. This is all just my drawing warm-up exercises. So this is supposed to be as like casual and laid back as possible for me. I might do it in the future, but for right now I don't focus too much on it. Yeah, because me doing all this is this is like my daily warm-up. Oh, it sounds like you're trying to sell me something. I might consider it in the future. Right now, I'm not. I'm trying to be as laid back as possible in terms of how I'm doing this, and then over time, I might change things. But I need to focus on the scene. This guy says something. Yeah, I need to finish this because I actually do have work to do after this. So like, I need to wrap this up. This guy says something, makes his character back off. But then he needs to push forward just a little bit because what he's doing is we can't have this character feel like he's just gotten out of the situation. So he gets his face a little closer. And then what happens is he needs to, as he's getting closer, I can look at some stuff later. But give me a second. I can't read the chat right now because I need to finish this drawing. I need to finish this sequence like as fast as I can. So this guy says something that kind of shows that he is stable. And he's not afraid of this guy. And so that's going to push him back. Yeah, that's fine. You can send me stuff on Instagram. Let's see. So now he's going to go back. And so this guy. What's going to happen is the camera is going to begin its orbit. It's going to start pulling back. So what's going to happen is this character's going to be over here. And we're going to start doing an orbit. This is going to be the circular dialogue. It's going to be slow at first. Sorry, I'm having to wrap this up really quickly. But what's going to happen is that as this character he's talking to this big character, the stuff that he's telling this big character is relevant to the plot, and it's calming him down. So the big character is now able to engage with him, and then as we're doing this circular dialogue, it is becoming apparent that he's now tracking with what this guy's talking about. We're going to have a mirror behind them. So then he's going to basically, as the camera's going to circle around these characters and orbit them, it's going to show that this young, scared guy he's getting better and better at dealing with this aggressive boss character. And he's like laying out a plan of some sort. And then what's happening is he's also getting bigger and bigger in the frame every time the camera orbits. So you see the camera angle is getting lower and lower. So as he's telling the story or whatever dialogue it is, yeah. Give me a second. Every time it circles. We also need to make sure we can see his expression. He's getting bigger, and the other guy's getting... His expressions are changing each each time. So you see, essentially what we're doing is that this guy manages to pull out of this aggressive situation. And then as he's talking and being chill, it's going to have an effect on the big guy over here. And then eventually what's going to happen is they're going to have a role reversal. And we're just going to keep on moving around them. And I think the camera should also be pulling out a little bit. So then that way we can get some more acting. And maybe we can see people in the background who are impressed that he's able to. He's able to like talk to this guy head on when no one else is able to. He's like, and that's when you come in for this plan or whatever the heck we're doing. So either way, what's going to happen is we're going to orbit one more time, and I really don't want to draw it out. So we're going to orbit, and the big guy is going to do some kind of I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to do something. Maybe he's going to do some sort of like big dramatic acting. Where he like throws his hands into the air or something like that. So let's see if that works. Okay. I think I'm basically going to wrap up this shot. Let's see. So he's going to start. Okay, so he's stuck in this situation with this guy. He's way too close to him, could kill him. Get this tense moment, and he has to word his way out of this situation. He manages to say something that gets this guy's attention. The camera pulls back. They start talking to each other. They start debating on something. He starts getting that guy to agree with him. Whatever he's saying becomes relevant. Things are looking good for this guy. Seems like he's made friends with this boss character. He's at this bar. You can see more people in the background. We're going to orbit again. What's going to happen is our main character is going to jump up onto this bar stool. Or he's going to jump up onto this bar, like, you know, railing. So we can get an elevation change. So that way we're having things the elevation change that we needed. It's like, and then I can jump in and do this. And then he's gonna wave his hands. So he jumped up. He throws his hands out. And then that motivates the camera to go out. This guy is also happy because he's feeling the energy of this guy. Like he agrees with whatever his plan is. And then he's also gonna like throw his arms up where he's like, yeah, you know, big. He's excited. He's a very excitable man. Here's this guy on the, you know, on the bar, throwing his hands up as well. And then we're gonna end on a shot that's like, I don't know, extreme wide angle or something like that. Them with their hands in the air, waving them like they just don't care. Something like that. All right. All right. See you. Thanks for dropping by. Let's see. And so this scene should really end with like maybe a reaction from a crowd or something that's like peeking in through the doorway. Like people looking over. You know. And they're curious, like, what? No one's ever convinced this guy to be this happy before. And then, oh yeah, we should do a shot from the ceiling fan. You know, the old Cowboy Bebop ceiling fan shot. There they are, excited on the bar stool, or on the bar railing. So we'll have the ceiling fan spinning. Remember, we showed it in the previous shot a while ago, so it's now coming back into the plot. People look through. And so the big guy is all excitable. See, now the characters are more on the same eye level. He's like, you know. He's like, there was a. Sorry, I don't even know what perspective this is in. He's like, I like you, dude. It's like, my head already feels better already. And he's like pointing to his head. And the guy up here who's standing with him, he's like, oh yeah, no problem. He's feeling pretty good about himself. And he's like, anytime. And then the big guy is like, we gotta end this on a note that puts this guy into a worse situation than he was beforehand. He's like, he's like, you really, you really convinced me there. I think you're the guy. He's gonna put his hand on his shoulder. I think you're the guy to run my elite death squad or something like that. He's just gonna throw him into an even. He's gonna put him into like the most dangerous position that he can offer him. Because he thinks this guy's way cooler than he is, or way tougher for whatever thing that's going on in this plot. He's like, wait, what? Here's this hand. And it's boom. Goes on his shoulder. And it literally pulls him down a little bit. Excuse me? So here's his face. And then he gets really close. It's like, you will lead them into battle. Or something. Camera's going to push in a little bit. See, these characters are getting bean mouth syndrome because I'm running out of time. This is the longest stream I think I've done, and this has gone way too far. I understand why they do beam mount, because it is super fast and easy to draw. And he's still like, okay. And that's where the scene's gonna end. Boom. Okay. That went on for an obscenely long amount of time. Please, someone in the comments on YouTube, anywhere, tell me, do not do any scenes this long ever again. Alright, let's go through this. Level change, circular dialogue. Both of these need to be in here. Alright, I hold myself accountable for time. Okay, so cars coming down the street. There's some sort of alien device thingy in the air background. We don't know what kind of universe this is. Maybe it's sci-fi noir. Okay, car comes up. Guy gets out. He's in a hurry. He's rushing. He's going down this hallway. He looks down at his clock or his watch. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna be late. He's going faster. He's going faster. He's going down the hallway. He needs to get somewhere. He's going, and someone says, hey, you missed the door. Huh? Looks behind him. He's like, It's this room. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, he goes. He's going in. He's got some sort of briefcase, and someone grabs his shoulder. He's like, huh? It's like, dude, chill. Huh? He's got a gun in his pocket. He's like hyperventilating. Takes a deep breath. He exhales. He's like, okay, got it. He's like, all right. He's going again. And he's like, hey, stay calm. He's not in a good mood. He's like, okay, thank you. So he enters into the room. There's a whole bunch of people, and he doesn't know where he's going. He's like looking around. He looks off to his right. He's like, okay. So he moves from screen left to right. He enters in this bar room area where there's a single guy who was originally not as big, but I made him cartoonishly bigger as the scene goes on. He's like, hey, you know, here for the meeting thing. It's like, oh, my head. It's like, I don't know. You see there's a little bandage on his head. He got in a fight or something. He's mad. This guy's like, he's like yelling to himself over here. This guy is now trying to shimmy over to screen left because he is afraid of screen right. So he's like, yeah, okay. He takes a drink. It's like, well, blah, blah, blah. He says some sort of information that just makes this guy even more mad. He just grabs him and pulls him close to him. He's like, And he drops his drink. And he's like, you think that's funny? Or he says something. He's like, I'm being serious here. And like this guy, he doesn't know how to get out of this situation. Because now he realizes that he has to be able to pull himself out of this situation with this guy. You see the drink is dripping, and you get this wide shot. You get the ceiling fan spinning. He says something, and it makes him almost a little bit more mad, but then he explains it calmly. And he pushes in a little bit to screen right, which pushes him back because this guy's showing a level of confidence. So then that pushing back then pulls the camera back, pushes the camera back, which then begins this orbit where he's explaining this plan or something to this guy, which is the whole reason here. And he's trying to sell him an idea, and he's maybe not fully convinced. And then he's like explaining it, and then the tension is decreasing, and we get this lower shot because he's becoming bigger because he's gaining control of this conversation. This guy over here is like, oh yeah, I like that plan. It's a good idea. And they're starting to talk, and he's like, and then you can do this, and blah, blah, blah. And this guy's like, oh yeah, no. It's like, yeah, that's great. And then as, you know, he does this big motion, then this guy gets up onto the table, and he's like, yeah, and then I can do that, blah, 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 blah. And he throws his hands in there, and the other guy's like, yeah. And they're in agreement of something. Then we cut to the ceiling fan, this little awkward silence, and people are looking through the door. It's like, huh. He's like, I like you. He's like, my head feels better already. Like, oh yeah, no problem. It's like, you know, I've been thinking, what about if I put you on the front line of my, I don't know, elite death squad, whatever group thingy? He's like, wait, what? And he pulls him. It's like, yeah, you. It's like, you can be the one. So like my front man. He's like, wait, huh? And so what's going to happen is this is, you know, not exactly what he wanted to hear. This guy was probably supposed to be trying to get like insider knowledge on this boss character. But now he's in too deep. So you gotta leave it on not a complete victory. Alright, well this session lasted super duper long. I'm gonna go. Thank you all for chatting and for dropping by. Have a good rest of your day. See you. Bye.